I don't know why so many people like that shit. I fucking hate it.
Rocky Horror is an experience. You can't just watch the movie. You have to experience it. That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to.
Yeah. But that's the only way that it's good. It's not good if you just watch it. You have to go and experience it. Like this movie. It's an experience. Malignant, the experience.
It's a great experience, though. We'll get into. But how are you, lovely people, doing tonight?
What up? What up?
Don't be shy.
Hey everyone. Doing good. This is like my third podcast. No, this is my fourth podcast in like 4 days. So
Staying busy, man. Staying busy.
yeah.
That's it.
What about you, Chris? How you doing?
This is my break. This is my break from all the other stuff I've been doing. So I'm happy to be here.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad I can, help with that. Man. But before we even get into the intro and all that, that's loading. What is everybody's early rating? And as you guys know or may not know, it's from a -10 because of Blood Lake to a +10. Which is everybody's early rating for the movie?
I'm gonna start it off, I guess. I'm gonna go with 7 on this one. I actually
7?
enjoyed this one. Yeah, I actually enjoyed this one. I like the twists. I think there's some goofiness to it a little bit, but I had a great time with it.
Okay. Ibrahim?
Yeah, I'll give it a 7 as well. I feel like this is a film where the astute like horror fanatic who gets all of the stuff that this movie's doing while also enjoying the campiness and the tongue-in-cheek stuff and the like homages. Like the more of that stuff that you get and the more fun you have with the movie, the more you're gonna like it. And so for me, all that stuff worked.
Michaela?
Oh, I don't want to be a follower. I was going to give it a 7, but I'm going to be different. So I'll give it a 7.1.
I respect that. And we're all around the same thing. So I'm going to give it a 7.5. I had a great time with this film. This is actually like my third time giving it a listen and watch. I watched it like completely one time, and then 2 other times I kind of had it played in the background, actually over the past couple of weeks. And I enjoyed it a little bit more every single time I watched it. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good film. And here's the intro.
Welcome to Horror with Sir Sturdy. Tonight, I'm Chris P, aka the worst damn grow ever, aka a super grow brother. Yo, Sturdy, what we up to tonight?
Tonight, us and hopefully a few others will be reviewing Malignant. And again, as soon as me and him shut the fuck up, we're all, or just both of us, we'll see, are going to start talking again. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm very excited for this. It's going to be a great fucking time. And as always, people, welcome to the madness. I just realized you burped.
I guess that makes 2 of us.
What? You just like did it?
Yeah,
An involuntary response.
I didn't expect it.
I looked dead at the camera too right after. I was like,
You knew what you were doing.
Ah, there he is.
Plead the 5th. This is still America, my friend.
Yeah. Ooh, Phil.
What's up, Phil?
Can you hear us?
Hey.
Hey guys, can't hear you. Give me a second. What's going on here?
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
Gotta fix some settings.
What happened? You can't hear us?
He can't hear us.
Well, he'll hear us in a minute.
Yeah.
Ibrahim,
We can say whatever we want about him in Canadian.
what's your early deep dive on this movie? Because I know you have a lot to say. From the
I'll be
group
right
chat,
back.
From the
Can't hear you.
Can you hear us?
No, I don't think he can hear us. Okay, so my early deep dive. So this movie, are you guys familiar with giallo Italian horror films?
Vaguely.
Vaguely? Okay. So, yeah, in like the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of Italian horror films, the biggest being like the Dario Argento films, Deep Red, Suspiria, There's some other ones. There's a lot, and they're all really kind of interesting and fun. A lot of them have to do with like basically it's like who's the killer kind of stories, and like, you know, lots of violence, slashers. This movie is very kind of in that same vein, right? So it's really like trying to play with us a lot. It's like, okay, you know, it at first it's like, okay, is this like a supernatural thing? But we see the slasher element to it like all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I really liked about this, is like it's playing with that stuff, but like playing with our expectations by being a James Wan film, because we think it's supernatural, but then it's like messing with, because we don't know. We just don't know. And we don't know who the killer is, and that's what makes it kind of fun.
Yes. And Phil, not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot, two things, my guy. Two things, my Canadian brethren.
What do you need?
First thing is obviously introduce yourself. Second thing is, what is your early rating from a -10 because of Blood Lake to a +10?
Wait, we can go negative? I didn't know that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am Phil Bear, the podcast mogul. I host 6 podcasts that help you learn how to be either an entrepreneur, a better investor, just enjoy wrestling, or even just make podcasting. That's what I do. And my early rating, I gave this a 4. This is a horrible movie.
Ooh.
Yes, I said it.
Wow, bruh.
Wow.
Like, there are, like, don't get me wrong, there are points that I really enjoyed of this movie. Like I was expecting this to be like a supernatural type thriller movie. Like, it's a James Wan. All the trailers were saying supernatural. I don't know. Have we spoiled the movie yet?
Not yet.
But you,
Not yet.
you
Okay.
can.
Not yet.
I don't want to be the first to spoil. I hate being a spoiler. But like, you're being sold this one thing, and then halfway through the movie, they decide, hey, we're going to try something new. We're not sure the first half of the movie was working, so here's the second half. And you're like, that's not what I signed up for.
At all.
Like, and like the action sequence, like, I'm pretty sure everybody knows the action sequence I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
that was bad. Like, I love that. Like, don't get me wrong. Love that. That was awesome. But within the first, like, 5-10 minutes, I knew who the killer was. Just from how the intro was going.
So you knew that the killer was
Gabriel? Yes.
Well, no. You knew that the killer was her parasitic twin that came out of her head.
Well, not the full.
You didn't know that. Yeah, so that's what. So I think everyone knows the killer is her, but no one knew that it was the parasitic twin that came out of her head.
Because
That's totally
there was no
different.
Talking of a parasitic
I didn't
twin
know she was the
at
killer.
all.
I didn't know she was the killer. I didn't think it.
I'm getting feedback on some.
At first, I was like, I bet this is how it's gonna go, but then I was like, that's too obvious. There's no way that's what it's gonna be. So I was still kind of in the air with it. I wasn't on a definite. Yep, it's her.
Yeah.
From watching so many horror movies and Hollywood movies, I know for a fact whenever my gut says it's this, Hollywood is not smart enough to change it up because they don't trust the average viewer. Like, we watch like what, at least a movie a day minimum for either podcast related stuff or not. So we're inundated with these. We see all the copious amounts of rehashing of old ideas. So you're able to, you know, sit down and watch a movie and you'll be like, yeah, okay, this is gonna happen. My ex was like super surprised. She's like, how did you know that was going to happen? I'm like, because I've seen it play out 15 other times in 15 other movies, and it's always the same thing. The only changing is the window dressing. Oh, it's a woman instead of a guy. You know, like the killer is, you know, parasitic twin, but it's kind of like split personality disorder all over again. Like, so the parasitic twin thing was okay, cool. You're taking something from like, you know, Total Recall, bringing it in, but it's like there's a similar story that Stephen King has. I can't remember it offhand, but like Stephen King has a similar story. So it's like come on, you got to do something else. And when it's James Wan, I was going. I hate paranormal movies because I'm an Irish Catholic. Like, I'm super like when it comes to like ghosts and all that. I was like, I don't mess with that stuff. Like, I respect the dead. I don't mess with it. I see something fall off. I'm like, cool, you have this room. I'll go into another room. Like, we're cool. And like The Exorcist, no go. So going into this, I was like, no, I don't want another paranormal movie. So I was kind of happy that it wasn't a full paranormal, but at the same time, it was like, you sold me a bill of goods that are different. I wanted this bill, and you gave me like I wanted a pizza, and you gave me a hot dog. Like that's what you're switching it up on me. That's my hot take.
I will be the first to agree that if that shit ever happened to me, if you promise me steak and deliver me a hot dog, somebody's choking on that hot dog.
Right?
But I was okay with the switch up on this, man. I was okay with the switch up.
Well, it was kind of like 3 different movies. This is like 3 different movies. You get promised kind of like a supernatural horror at the beginning of the movie, right? And you're like, yeah, this is going to be good. James Wan, you know he does these movies like, this is his bread and butter. Then you get this switch when it becomes a slasher film from like not the good period of slasher films, no, from the early 2000s slasher films, where it's like the over-the-top type slasher films, and with an like let's add like a whole bunch of action bits to it because why not? So you're like, is this a horror movie? Is this an action movie? Is this a thriller? Is this a slasher? Like what is it? And I don't mind when movies play around with the genres, but like at least have a consistent genre underneath in your marketing and all that, so that you feel like it's the whole way through. And that's where it lost it from me, and that's why I rated it so low, was because like you didn't have that one thing. Like when you watch, you watch the MCU movies, okay? They have a consistent theme.
Oh, we're just spoiled now.
Yeah, we're spoiled. But they have a consistent theme. Like it's not like I'm not talking about the whole universe, but if you look at Winter Soldier, it's a political thriller with superheroes with something else on top. And you have that full throw so that they can change throughout each section, like each act. You can get that switch, but they keep that common thread. This movie didn't have that common thread, other than being it's a horror movie by James Wan. Now I feel like I've been monopolizing the time, so I'm going to receive the rest of my time and someone else can speak.
So I guess I'll be the one to give the defense of this movie, I think in the best way possible. So I think it makes sense that he's trying to mess with you, because if we just like knew it was just a straight up a slasher from the beginning, this movie would be kind of boring. And the other thing too is like the twist is, it's not supposed to be like Saw or something, like where you're just like, oh my god. It's supposed to like make you laugh, really. And that's what's kind of interesting to me about this movie, is like what it's trying to do is just be entertaining, more so than like, I don't know, be really deep or like be really, really good. It's just supposed to take a whole bunch of elements from old movies where it's campy and kind of cheesy and kind of fun, and throw them all together in something that's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Like a whole bunch of these things happen and they're ridiculous, but it's ridiculous in a way that you've never seen before. So it's just kind of fun. But I can understand if someone like, they're like, okay, that was too dumb for me, or it was too over the top. I mean, these action scenes are like insane. They're totally insane. And when this dude's like running, he's running backwards and shit. He's fighting people backwards. It's like, what the fuck am I watching? I mean, the thing that really got me, I mean, like when I first watched it, I knew something was up, but I couldn't like say what it was. But when he kills that dude in the bed, and he kills him fucking backwards, stabbing him, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
Yeah, I want to know how she woke up without any pain in her joints. Like, there are questions I have, because like, look, I've broken my arm, it hurts. I've never dislocated, but I can pop my shoulder in and out because it's like double jointed. And it still hurts like a bitch. Like it will hurt me the next day. Like this guy is like flinging himself across the city at points, and like she's waking up and she's like, "Oh, let's go do morning yoga." Like there's no issues, and you're like, "No, something's like there's no pain."
I mean, to be honest, like it's the same way. If you can accept that a teenager gets bitten by a spider and then he can shoot webs out of his hands, and he can climb walls. If you can accept that logic, then you can accept the logic of this movie, I'd say. Because they're basically the same. I mean, this is literally just like an R-rated origin story of a villain from some crazy universe, basically.
You know what? That makes a lot of that makes me like the movie even more.
I hate you now, because now I just like, okay, now I can like this movie because it's now put it in. But like, Damn you, bloody bastard! I'm gonna go pout.
But that's the thing. Like that's the hardest part of making almost any movie is like getting the audience to suspend the disbelief. Because if things are too ridiculous or it's ridiculous in a way you don't like, then it's not going to work. But, you know, like I said, the teenager gets bit by a radioactive spider. Rich guy decides he's going, because his parents died, he's going to be a fucking
vigilante.
Vigilante. Same shit. We accept that.
Why do you have to ruin movies for me? Why do you have to ruin movies for me? Why is this movie so important to you that you have to ruin all of cinema?
I'm just trying to enlighten my perspective.
Enlighten you. See that? He's trying to enlighten you.
I don't want to be enlightened.
But like, you cannot like the movie. You know, I think it's totally valid.
No,
you won't be.
No, he can't.
You will not be the first or the last person to not like this movie. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that.
Such a hot take.
You know
what? No.
Speaking of that,
No. You stop it,
speaking of
Phil.
that, what you just said right there, Ibrahim. This movie was kind of different, like you were saying and stuff. And I love, like in horror groups, how people complain that they're putting out the same shit. They'll complain about remakes. Then they put out something different like this, or even something to a higher scale, like Midsommar or Hereditary, something like that. Then they'll watch it and just hate it because they don't understand it. I'm like, yo, you wanted something different. You wanted something that was a mind fuck.
No. They want something different, but exactly the same as before.
Just a little different, though.
Yeah. Like, look, they're going to be okay. Like, in like 2 to 3 years, you're going to see a nice trend of movies like Midsommar and those really ones that like push the boundaries, because people are going to be like, oh, guys, it's so boring. Let's get something that's twisted. And we're going to start seeing like the poorer versions of those movies start pouring out. And that's how it does. It was just like how Halloween created the slasher genre, and then you got some of the bigger guys coming through, and then like, okay, we need to up the game, so they up the game to the next way. Yeah. And someone pushed it too far, and they're like, oh, hey, like Hostel is just way, like, at the time it was like, holy shit, but now we watch it, we're like, what's up? Like, yeah, he got his tendon cut, so what? Like, but the viciousness of like seeing the tendons actually cut for the first time. So like the first time you see Hereditary, you're like, this is fucked up. But now that you see some guy like popping, locking, like flipping, flopping, and the demented thing, and you're like, that can happen. You know, like you're not twist as much for it. So like we're gonna see more Hereditaries come down the road.
I fucking hope so. They better be excellent too.
They won't be. They're gonna be poor ripoffs.
Because that movie, I fucking love that shit.
Well, I've been talking about like the movie Lamb. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer for that or anything about that movie, but that's like another A24 horror movie that looks totally like out there. So that's another, you know, speaking of original.
You should do, Deep Focus Cinema Podcaster, because I missed your name and that's what I'm going to be calling you for the whole thing. It's going to be my, no, I'm not going to go down that road.
Ibrahim.
Have you reached out by any chance to A24 and seen if they wanted a podcast and you could host it?
They have a podcast, yeah. They already have one.
Damn it.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be really good. A lot of deep dives.
I don't listen to it, so it's shit.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. We're not on it, so
yeah, we're not on it. So of course it's trash.
You know, I'm not gonna say it's trash, but
it's trash.
But it's trash.
You should up your game, son.
Michaela, you're awfully quiet down there.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just trying not to cut anyone off. But I completely agree with, is it Ibrahim or Abraham?
Yeah, Ibrahim. Yeah.
Ibrahim, I apologize. But I completely agree. I don't think the movie was meant to be serious in any way. I think it was supposed to be a little campy. It was supposed to be a little goofy. And James Wan actually tweeted right before the movie came out, and he pretty much was like, don't expect what you think you're expecting. And because I think he is known for this supernatural type of movie. And honestly, I'm glad it wasn't. We have enough of those. I'm so tired of the haunted house. I'm so tired of the Conjuring. Like, I love it, but I'm so tired of it, you know? Like, we've had so many ghost stories. I'm like, I want something new. And then piggybacking off of what you said with how you felt like it was like 3 different movies in one. Well, you're going to have a hard time with Martyrs, because that just goes through twists and loops.
Yeah.
Martyrs. I need to add that to the wheel. Chris, please message that to me, because you know I'm going to forget.
Right now.
Yeah, Martyrs is a pretty ridiculous movie.
I've never
like the opening is like, what the hell? Yeah, this movie from the jump. So like the first scene is like, I don't know. It's like some right. Like you see this building, and there's like it's like what the fuck is this? Like Frankenstein or something? And then we get into this hospital, and it's super campy. Dudes are getting thrown around.
Mhm.
What the hell am I watching? And then she says that line like, "Time to cut out the cancer." And it's like, what have I gotten into?
If I had to complain about anything about this film, it would be that part. Like, the first part of it didn't need to happen at all. At fucking all. They could have just literally showed her being born with, you know, them pushing her skull, or maybe just closing her skull up, and they say malignant or something. They didn't have to do all that other dumb shit.
They wanted to.
Yeah, well, I think it's setting the tone, right? It's setting the tone. Like you're in for a campy, crazy, wild ride. Like it's so crazy because like all that stuff happens. We see the nurse get thrown through the door, and then we see that the person who did it is wearing these little cute socks or whatever, right? Like that's like the contrast that they set up, and it's like, wait, the person wearing the little kitty socks just threw a person through a freaking wall, and they had to kill him. They had to like take him out with a dart, like they were a wildebeest or something.
I love the specific animal. They take him out like a rhino. No, we're going wildebeest.
It's a wildebeest.
That's more specific.
Yeah, it's a preteen wildebeest.
That preteen wildebeest.
It's just so weird. It's just this movie, like from the jump, it's trying to tell you you're in for a crazy ride. So just drink a beer, have some popcorn, have fun. Don't
some marijuana.
I was told that it was going to be a campy, fun ride, I'd be okay with it. But I'm being sold by the trailers, by everything with it, that this is a James Wan movie. So I'm going in like, oh crap, I'm going to hate myself and I'm going to yell at Sir Sturdy after this podcast, like after this movie. That's what I was expecting. And then I watch it and I'm like,
during the podcast.
I would have been hot coming in yelling at you with my Irish accent.
Wait, he didn't have to sign the waiver that any damage done while podcasting with us is not our problem?
No. I got bigger lawyers in Canada. But yeah, so I'm sold this bill of goods, and that's where I get more upset. Like the bill of goods I was sold. So I know it's not James Wan's fault. I know it's the marketing, and that's how they market it, because they're like, oh, we want to make it horror because it's just before October, you know, like they want to start the month off right. But you're selling me this BS baloney. Like, what is this? I wanted like horror. I wanted to be scared. I'm coming on a horror podcast about a horror movie, and you're giving me this slasher film. I'm like, why didn't you just sell me it as a slasher film, or sell it to me as something else? But you're everything is like mystical and like supernatural, and there's not 1 ounce of supernatural things in it.
Yeah, the movie it's really hard kind of to market because like the good thing was they didn't give away the ending at all. They didn't give away the twist at all. So no matter what, everything I saw, even stuff online, like a lot of people were like, hey, you whatever you're expecting, just go in not knowing anything, but being in for a wild ride, right? And I think that's kind of like the right way to approach it. But yeah, I just feel like if people have the wrong expectations going in, you're not gonna like this movie, and that's really hard. It's really hard to like temper people's expectations going in to being the right way, because that does affect, like you're saying, you know.
Like I like
7.5. You just gave it an 8.
Give it an 8. Nice.
Call us all haters.
Look, I don't hate on the movie. Like the movie,
I gave it a 7. There.
I hate on. I gave it a 4 because I was sold a wrong bill of goods. Like this.
Do you guys hear something?
Bora Bolaco?
Sorry.
Goodbye.
Oh shit.
Goodbye. If you can come on here being nice to Chris. Remind me, Sir Sturdy, that Chris is never allowed on any single one of my podcasts.
I'm banned.
You're banned on my podcast.
Oh shit.
But Ibrahim is not. He's allowed to come on my podcast.
No, okay.
Nice.
I'm one of the good ones.
You're safe. No, I love how James is like, I came in late. I hate negative. I heard negative comments. I've been negative on this movie the whole time. There's good action bits. It's if it was sold to me as an action movie or an action horror, something along those lines, then I've been like, yeah, this paid off. Like James Bond, kind of like what Edgar Wright did with the different movies he's done. He's shown that he can he can take his type of movie-going experience and make it a great movie in different genres. Like if James Wan wanted to say, I'm not doing a supernatural, I want to do a slasher film, and they sold it as a slasher film, I think people would have been like, I would have been more receptive to it. Or if they sold it as more of like an action horror movie, I would be like, okay, cool. But no, you're selling it to me as this like supernatural type killing thing where this girl has this weird connection to this thing that's killing. And then within the first like 10, 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, I figured it out. Like it's her, and probably something's controlling her.
I could see that. I mean, I get it because you were coming with different expectations. I came into this movie actually every single time with zero expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whenever you give me a movie, my expectation is I'm going to have to change my underwear.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
I hate horror movies. I'm notoriously, I hate horror movies. Like,
James said he enjoyed the kills and the rip-off of Matrix fighting.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
I kind of chuckled my ass off at that. Actually, that's literally what I thought.
I enjoyed those shitty, like, it was great fighting, but it was a ripoff, of course. But it was like the kills were cool. One part, I love the chair scene when he just whips the chair across it and just knocks to. I was like, yes, bravo, cheese factor accomplished. Yes, like I did enjoy moments of it, but it wasn't enough for me to go like.
I really liked the chase scene. The chase scene was like ridiculous when he's jumping down the. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what am I watching right now? And just the way he was running and shit, it was just so weird.
Like, that's why that got a point for me. That's one of the 4 points it's got for me. But yeah, no, that's my hot take on the thing.
Yeah, we respect it. It's cool.
Extreme parkour, yeah.
That's true. It is extreme parkour.
Zombie parkour.
Yeah. Try doing parkour backwards.
Backwards with no eyes.
Well, Gabriel has eyes.
Does he?
Gabriel
with the hair all up in his face.
It's
you really see like
with the mop over his head.
It's like, you know, like when you see Gabriel at points, like his hair is not that like in his face, but when he's gone, okay, spoiler alert. When he's gone, like she has a lot more hair than Gabriel.
She has
like the hair just like magically just shift back.
See, like, not only does she have hair, she also like they gave her this weird looking wig. To be honest, that was another thing that added to the campy weirdness. Yeah. Which I think was a choice because they want you to be like, why does her hair look like that? That's really weird.
I want to go after. I have to ask Michaela because she seems to have about the same length of hair as her actress, maybe a bit longer. Like, do you have like? There's barely any hair back there. I don't know.
Is there a parasitic twin back there?
Like, yeah,
no,
we're wondering. Do you
have
got
a twin? Just not on the back of my head. She walks.
Yeah, so the face would just come out and then go back. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That looks more like
hello, Gabriel
family. But yeah, that can work.
Oh shit,
that's awesome.
Oh, I fucking love it.
It's pretty accurate. I mean, yeah, this movie's ridiculous. But the ridiculousness is the fun part. Like, you just have to like it. If you don't, then okay, this movie's not for you. But like, you just gotta go with it.
Second time, like if I rewatched it, my rating would be higher. But as a horror movie, I'm sorry, this is a horrible horror movie. I was not scared at all, and that's what I want from my horror movies, to be scary.
Yeah.
Like,
watch it high next time.
Yeah, I feel like being crossfaded even.
The first
would
like
help.
what 15 20 minutes or so with the shadow figure back and forth when you don't really know what's going on, they did a good job at presenting that as kind of the spook and jump scare type, but then it transitions quickly and then it transitioned again and it's like, oh, okay,
all right, we going on a roller coaster ride. Okay,
fuck it, let's roll. Let's just be liquid with it. They can stay in liquid, we stay in liquid. Let's do this.
I said liquid. I was waiting. Good job, Chris.
You have oh my god, lucky the boyfriend get, oh god. Oh, sweet Jesus. This is what I like.
It's kind of true.
Podcast. I don't
now, technically, like Gabriel did not awaken until he fucking beat you know, his wife. So fortunately, he didn't really have sex with Gabriel. He was feeding.
Gabriel was present. Like, how creepy
he was
is
present.
that? Like,
It's
your
super
brother-in-law
creepy,
is present for every time you get with your wife.
Gabriel's a cuck.
That's rape.
Gabriel.
Fuck. Holy shit. That is fucking weird thinking about it. That's fucking weird thinking about it, but it's funny.
I mean, most dudes dream about twins, right?
Not in that sense. Not at all.
My twins don't usually include a homicidal or one that can like dislocate her joints without any issues.
We're staying liquid, Phil. We're staying liquid.
We're staying liquid, yeah, not in my life. I'll go the vanilla route, the color of my skin, if we're going down that road. Like, I'll go a hardcore conservative values if I need to.
There's so many weird, just like Rule 43 kind of things that you could just, I don't want to think about them, but then when you think about like the sexual side of Gabriel, like the backward sex, like that's just such a weird thing to even imagine.
Chris, I want to punch you for bringing up anybody thinking about like, oh, Jesus.
It's yeah.
James
it's
too. I'm sorry, I'm going after Chris here. It's James.
I was like, wait, what did I do?
Yeah,
backwards
sex.
This is where we got to is backwards sex. James, this is all on you.
Human centipede shit.
No.
Ooh.
Reverse cowgirl is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, for Gabriel, that's the default. That's the default setting on the remote control.
We lost Chris. Chris is dying.
Hey, you have to stir the pot. Yeah, someone has to do it.
You need to stir the pot. This movie stirred the pot enough.
Yeah, stir the pot a lot.
This podcast is being haunted by James Skynup.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Because he decided to go to Maine with his wife. Selfish. I'm just saying, man.
One thing I want to talk about, like, I really like the murder weapon. I thought that was really cool.
The knife?
I thought that was really fucking cool. And again, it was very emblematic of like those old 60s, 70s Italian horror movies where they had some kind of fucking crazy looking dagger or a knife or something. And it was just it's cool homage.
In the medieval times, were they just that bored? Like, oh, we have ore, let's just make the weirdest fucking knives possible. Like, is that because like every killer has like this ancient dagger of like weird proportions? I'm like, but what happened to the old school, like just straight up stabby type things? No, it has to be this organic or like ornate type of sword with a long type of history. What happened to just the simple knives?
That one was what, a piece of a statue or something, right?
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome, is what it was, guys.
Yeah, it was awesome. I like this.
Like,
I liked it a
zero
lot.
debate there, people. I'm just saying.
That shit right there.
Hell yeah.
Of those. Like, I want at least 4. Why? Because I deserve 4 of those. They're awesome.
I love how we're like, Michaela is now just your image. Like, poor Michaela. Completely invisible. She's been quiet this whole time. I feel like we've been overpowering her.
There you go. Now we're back.
I believe she's a very strong, independent woman.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she can beat all of us in an arm wrestling competition, in any competition.
But I do have I got this. This can help me out.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
That looked heavy.
Yeah, surprisingly, the guy that broke into my house didn't use it to attack my boyfriend.
Oh.
It was a curtain rod.
No bueno.
Wait, hold on. Someone broke into your house.
It's a long story. I don't want it to take over the podcast.
No, okay, then never mind.
No. If you don't mind telling the show, that's
if you guys want to hear it, that's fine.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah, I think we do want to hear it. Yeah.
Well, I was at,
before you start, we are glad you're okay.
Yes.
I'm okay. My boyfriend's okay.
Yeah.
The intruder's not.
Good. Even better.
Right, the story's already better than the movie, so let's go.
So it was May 11th, and I was at work, and I have a Ring camera on my front door, and I had an alert on my smartwatch that there was motion at my door, and I looked, and there was someone it seemed approaching my door, and it looked funny. And so I went and I watched my Ring camera, and I could see the guy run up and kick in my door, and then you could see him go in, and now I'm frozen. And my boyfriend was home, and I'm calling him, and he's not answering. So I'm like, he's dead. He's dead. That's what's
From
happening.
the kick in to the death right away. Like, no, I didn't even have 2 seconds inside. She's like, he's dead. I'm fucked. Crap.
Nothing in between.
And
I'm gonna come home to a body.
that's what I thought. So I ran to my supervisor at work, and I'm like, someone just broke into my house. I'm like freaking out, and I'm like, and so we were watching my Ring camera for a little bit, and then you do see Chris run outside, then you see him on the phone with 911, then you see him run back inside, and then you see the police show up on the Ring, and the next thing you hear is, I shot him, and I'm like, oh shit. And then my boss was like, all right, we're getting in the car, we're going to your house. So we drive up to my house. There's like 5 police cars, because I'm not gonna say where I live, but it's quiet. Now that happens, so when something happens, there's like 20 police. So there was 5 police cars. My
You live in a
whole
white neighborhood, don't
taped
you?
off.
Yeah.
It looked like the movies where like everyone's outside the tape and they're all like looking like what's going on. So yeah, it was my house, and Chris is there. He's on the front porch. He's bawling, and I'm talking to him. Well, it turns out this guy just came and kicked our door in. Chris was upstairs playing Minecraft, and he ran downstairs and he saw the guy's foot as it was going into my kitchen, and he ran and grabbed his gun, because I live in a stand your ground state, and my boyfriend's a correction officer, and so he cocked it and he's like, if you don't get out, I'm gonna shoot you. And then it went quiet, and then my boyfriend left the house to call 911, but he had eyes on both the doors, and the guy wasn't coming out, and he actually watched the guy literally take my fridge and throw it into the wall. There was a whole smash in my wall. Everything in my fridge was on the floor. He ruined my pantry door, and Chris came back in to find the guy, and he actually, in the meantime, we found out he came up here into this room, and he took my curtain rod down, and he ran downstairs to attack Chris. I'm surprised he didn't take anything in this room. Or like I'm sure he was kind of like freaking out, like, holy shit, they worship the devil. I'm screwed. But he ran downstairs, and my boyfriend saw him in my master bedroom, like peeking around with this curtain rod. And Chris was like, you need to get out. I'm going to shoot you. And then he threw the curtain rod at Chris. So Chris shot once, and then the guy started running to my master bathroom, which happened to have 5 baby kittens in it. So Chris shot 2 more times. It happened to hit him in the stomach, and he was taken to the hospital, and then he eventually died at the hospital. But it turns out this guy has been arrested over 50 times, many times for meth. Yeah, it was not a loss to the community, as the police told us. So.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That took a left turn I was not expecting.
This guy is legit dead. That's fucking crazy. Sounds like meth, yeah.
Yeah.
Now his wife, who's been in and out of jail, keeps harassing us.
Oh shit.
Because the newspaper leaked my address. And so
Oh,
she
that's
came
nice
up,
of them.
Yeah,
If
I
they
mean,
keeps
why
on
not?
living.
and then she had a rumor going around that I was sleeping with him, and Chris came home to us in bed, and Chris shot him. So that's the
Yeah, but
Pretty sure you have at least
Really?
a witness.
It's crazy.
really quick, you go to this story that happened, which we know it didn't. I'm like, I'm gonna shoot both of you, and then probably myself like right after.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just.
My question is, Chris, if this was true, your boyfriend is very forgiving.
Word.
Like
We can work through this, but he's got to go.
Right.
Like, Jesus is like, really?
He's got to die.
I'm just,
So that's her story. And then she also tried to contact us on Facebook and say, like, I'm a psychic. And, like, I got your license plate number from a dream. And that's how I got your guys' names. And I need to know his last words. I don't know. It was crazy. We just blocked her.
shit.
Wow.
Nah.
Okay.
I am so glad I listened to Canada.
Wow.
That's been my life.
Like, damn,
Sorry
I'm
to
sorry.
take over the podcast for a second.
No, you're
Nah,
good.
you're good.
No, that just like that's a,
He
like
said that sounds like meth also.
She also has a very long record. So
Yeah.
Chris. Sorry,
That's
Sir
right.
Sturdy. I know what you should name this episode.
Matt?
Real life, James Wan edition. Because your story was straight. I did not expect the shooting into the stomach. You know.
Yeah.
That like a leg shot or something. Not yeah. That's messy. Damn.
Yep.
It happens.
I'm
this
never
was,
visiting your house, so that's cool.
well, you just if you
He
visit
didn't
someone,
die
No.
here. He
just
didn't
knock
die
on the
here.
door.
Last the person who
Wait
knocked
to
on
be
their door
allowed
got
in.
shot in the stomach.
Wait to be allowed in. That's usually the rule
Even
of
if he
thumb.
did, I haven't gotten anything. So
Oh yeah.
Oh, and a
Oh, yeah,
Ouija board.
that's so much more inviting for me. Fuck. Let's
Oh,
show
yeah,
him
the house is
Ouija board.
protected.
He'll
We're
definitely
good.
come now.
Yeah, and Meth Kills
Meth
episode name.
Yeah, episode
Meth
name,
Kills.
Meth Kills.
The episode's already named, guys. You know this is a live show. You know how I roll. I'm not gonna go back and do it because you know I'm gonna forget, and I'm too lazy.
For the podcast version, bro. For the podcast version. The audio only.
You know.
Yeah,
like
that's
Ouija
why I'm the mogul.
So, James, send Meth Kills in the group chat. Audio name, and I will do that. That's a fun.
James just pops up. No.
You're just hanging out with your wife, James. You're not doing anything important. Oh, wait. I don't mean it like that, people. James knows I'm just talking shit. I don't want to get him in trouble for my work.
Oh, here's fighting words.
Yeah. I blame Chris. He's a bad influence on me.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Story of his life, pretty much. Story of his life.
Yes, sir.
I got to pull these wheels up to see what we're going to be reviewing.
Ooh,
Oh, wheel time.
Yes, sir.
it's real. You need to wait. You have
Did
to,
we also mention who this episode's brought to us by?
We will, right after the wheel. And this episode is dedicated to James.
Just a
I
moment
revoked those
of
cards
clarity for you, James.
Those cards can't be revoked, James.
So everybody listening in on the podcast who's behind stage, Sturdy got a couple interesting cards, literal like credit cards. I don't know if you guys saw them or not when he displayed them, but he has his actual race card and his actual privilege card,
White privilege.
and he never leaves home without it.
No, I don't. I'll show you guys right once we come back on screen. After we spin the next wheel. See what we're reviewing. Thursday. Oh, my eye itched.
wait. You have 3. Wait, how many wheels are we spitting?
No,
We keep spinning wheels until there's no more wheels to spin.
Okay, we got O Canada. What does O Canada mean?
that's the Canada wheel.
The Canada wheel.
Well, you're about to find out, my friend. And it's got a marijuana leaf on it.
Of
Yeah.
course it does.
That BC, son.
Yeah, it's your cousin. Your cousin made this one, Phil. Your cousin Kyle.
Nice.
I like that response. Just, haha, nice.
What's up? What's on this wheel?
These are all Canadian movies.
Oh, Cube. I like Cube.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
genius, bro.
Mhm. There's some good movies on here.
So we'll
course
be
it's
reviewing
Canadian.
whatever pops up is what we will be reviewing on Thursday. If anybody wants to join us, that includes you that are already on here. Thursday, same time, 9:00. Scanners.
Scanner.
Duh.
Yeah.
Duh.
Scanners.
Scanners.
There we go.
Scanners. I love the robotic voice.
Yeah, that was interesting. I haven't heard that before.
Chris. It was either Chris or Michaela. It wasn't me.
Definitely Michaela.
Sounded like Michaela. Definitely Michaela.
Definitely sounded like Michaela.
I'm not that talented.
Yeah.
Shit, man. Scan. I've never seen that before. I don't think.
I actually reviewed that earlier this year. Yeah, it was earlier this year for my sci-fi podcast. It's ridiculous. Talking about, it's basically a ghetto X-Men movie. like a really low budget X-Men movie.
No. Go back to what you said before that. A ghetto X-Men movie, I'm in. That's
It's a legit ghetto X-Men movie.
I'm in. I can't fucking wait.
So,
This is what Chris was talking about.
And it's Canadian.
Yeah, his official race card.
Nice.
Never
Yes.
leaves home without it,
And-
just in case.
Just in case you police decide to pull me over, boom.
Not today.
White
Man.
privilege. You leave me alone, sir. Officer. Do I look like a Tyrone to you?
I'm not answering that question.
You're right.
I'm a minority on this podcast. I am not
Speaking
answering
of
that
Kyle,
motherfucking
hello,
question.
Kyle.
Oh, yes, you are.
I love how Sir Sturdy just tuned in.
Kyle, your cousin Phil's on here.
Hi, Kyle. I'm representing Canada for us.
Yeah, he's representing Canada tonight.
Yeah.
Not New Mexico.
I hope you're proud, Kyle. I hope you're proud of him.
I
You guys
so
talked
too.
about it, having Canadian bacon and drinking your maple milk over.
Maple milk.
Over a double.
Timmy's.
They like that stuff.
Not maple milk. Not really.
Yeah.
And they play hockey.
The poutine.
Hey, don't you talk bad about my poutine, huh?
I'm not. I said some poutine. Jesus.
It was maple water and hot milk, and it was terrible. Oh, God.
My
You mean
bad.
Aunt Jemima's frigging syrup that they sell in the States and say, yeah, this is maple syrup? No, that's not.
Yeah.
Listen,
No, it's high fructose corn syrup. Thanks.
how are you going to tell us where maple syrup comes from? Just because it comes from Canada.
Dude, there is a goddamn mafia in Quebec of maple syrup, okay?
That's
There's a
fucking
word.
Netflix special talking about the maple syrup heist. Okay, you want 97% or something stupid of the world's maple syrup comes from my goddamn province. Okay,
That's
in
awesome.
Canada.
They need to put some THC in that stuff.
Can you? I was gonna say, can you go out back real quick and just untap for me and just send me a little bottle,
Yeah,
just a little bottle.
Get a bottle on tap.
You have no idea how crazy the friggin' rules are for maple syrup and all that, man. It's
I can imagine. I can actually imagine. Yeah.
I don't understand. We have rules.
I mean,
for
that's why you have a mafia, right?
yeah.
That's why you have a mafia, so you can decide exactly how you distribute.
Yeah, Smodcast
Maple
has
syrup.
it. There's another one, Do Go On, an Australian podcast, part of the weekly, not the Weekly Planet, or Planet Broadcasting Network, which Weekly Planet, amazing podcast. You guys should listen to if you guys love superhero movies and stuff like that. They do amazing. James and Mr. Sunday Movies, giving a free promo to them. But they're kind of one of the reasons why I started podcasting, so I might as well throw out love to them. But
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's weird. We have a very weird country. Maple syrup, of all things, is our liquid gold, and we have a monopoly on that because.
Well, you guys have the other liquid gold too. You got a lot of that.
What?
Yeah, we have a lot
of that oil.
Yes. That liquid gold that he gives out?
Well,
That started in Canada?
Concentrates.
I knew it. I knew that R. Kelly stuff started in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I think our friend Robert. I don't think he has any gold anymore. He's going to be having a lot of liquid, but not a lot of gold.
They got
Reasonable.
sunshine.
There ain't gonna be no sunshine in there.
No sunshine up in
That's
Canada.
funny.
No prison.
Well,
That's a little
actually,
overkill.
Prison.
it's weather already for us, so I have to hide.
So
on my
do you
sweater.
like Malignant any better, Phil? After this review?
I'll move it to a 5.
That's acceptable.
Well, I feel like you were saying you needed to watch it again without the
Yeah,
expectations.
like-
that would be better. Yeah.
If I went in with if I knew nothing about this movie going in, all I knew was it was James Wan, I'd probably be more open to it. But because I saw the trailer, because I've been hyped up about it, and I was expecting one thing and coming in another, I probably would have gave it a better rating. But yeah, I can give it a 5. I'll come up to a 5, but because of the bill of goods I was sold of what type of movie with all the promo and that's why it's getting a lower rating.
Okay.
Didn't
Hey,
meet my standard.
That's fine. Anybody else want to change their ratings?
Nah, I think I'm staying right at my 7.
7? Ibrahim?
Yeah, I'm staying.
What was your rating? Oh, 7, right?
Yeah.
Kyle coming in with the 7.5.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my 7.5 with that. Kyle said 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
And Michaela, you said a 6, right?
I said a 7.1.
Yeah,
Oh,
7.1.
that's right. I forgot.
Ooh, she's being
I'll move it
precise.
up to 7.2. So
Yeah.
Big moves in the game.
Gotta give
Big
it the
moves
credit
in the
when it's
game.
due.
I'm gonna stick with the 7.5 James is staying with his 8. Oh, that's who gave it an 8.
Disappointment over there. Oh, that's who's crazy person gave this an 8. James did. It's always James' fault. And the only reason he's giving it an 8 is because James won, and James good enough. Close enough. They're similar enough.
Conspiracy. Conspiracy.
Yeah, it's full on conspiracy over here, people.
Phil, his last name is my opinion overrides all of your scores.
You wish.
Typical white American male.
It has been.
Yeah. We have this beautiful diversity going on tonight. He has to come in here and ruin it. Oh, damn you, James.
Oh my
damn
God.
you. You expect anything less, Ibrahim? Come on now. You do 3 shows with us now. 3 shows with us.
Yeah, he does. He does do 3 shows with us.
Who does 3 shows? Wait, what? What's going on?
James does like every show. He does every show.
He's the Z Network whore. If you need him, he'll be there.
Yeah. Well, he's the podcast whore. Let's be fair. Like he'll do any.
Hey! I will not have the name of podcast whoring sullied. Okay.
Right.
It's like, and it has to be earned.
Yeah, I have to earn that.
But shit, man. Phil, why don't you fill everybody in on your show?
Which one? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am, of course, Phil Bennett, the podcast mogul, the man, the myth, the legend himself, who will help you grow your podcast or learn how to become a digital entrepreneur. You can catch me on Instagram at Podcaster Phil Better. You can always check out my amazing Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast, which is an award-winning podcast over at investinyourselfpod.com, where I will show you all my amazing podcasts. But I also host the Invest in Yourself, the podcast series, where I teach you how to be a podcaster and also interview amazing podcasters. I have the Phil Better Show, which is the longest running podcast in my portfolio of podcasting, where I review movies and TV shows with the pop culture expert himself, Aaron Talks Films. And then I have Stock Dirty to Me, if you want to learn how to properly invest your money and not into those meme stocks and get played all there. And then I have a few others that I produce, like, Money Grows on Trees by the millionaire investor himself, Lloyd Ross. And then there's a few others. But, that's what I do all day, every day. Podcasting is my life. I'm bored now.
There you have it.
Cool.
Everybody, let's go. Send somebody else up.
Woo! Phil, that was a strong one. I don't even know how to follow that one up, but I'm going to try to. It's your boy, Chris P., the a.k.a. the worst damn gamer ever, a.k.a. the worst damn grower ever, a.k.a. part of the Supergirl Bros. Check us out. We're dropping on the 30th. It's going to be nuts. You can also check out The Devil Made Me Do It, which is a serial killer podcast. Check them out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. Any last words? Also, it's kind of a horror lifestyle and podcasting, movie reviews as well, cooking, all that good stuff. So Good at Scary on the left there, and Facebook. If you have your own personal project you are working on, it's 30 minutes or less, and you want us to review it, hit us up. We can do it on air if you give us permission. We can go through it and chop it up about it for you. Sturdy, what else you got?
You already know. Live shows Tuesday nights and Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Horror with Sir Sturdy. You can see the platforms right there, and if you're listening live, you know where to watch me. Same with Popcorn and Pints. Live every Saturday, 9 o'clock Eastern time. We review 2 films, and we got the wheels on there. You can also go check out Stories from a Bar. Dope podcast. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, check it out. Also, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Then you have Deep Focus Cinema. You guys hear how Ibrahim reviews everything from Horror with Sir Sturdy and Popcorn and Pints. He gives the deep dives, and he always gives us those deep-ass fucking 40-hour movies.
Pause.
And hopes we get them back-to-back. But I'll tell you this, 9 times out of 10, they're fucking amazing movies, so go check out Deep Focus Cinema. And you'll see, I guarantee you'll probably see about 97 movies you've never fucking seen in your life before. Go check that podcast out. And we started a new podcast. We don't have a logo for it quite yet, but we're working on that. But I'll let Ibrahim kind of give you guys a little
Yeah.
me what it's about.
So, as Sir Sturdy himself said, I have a podcast called Deep Focus Cinema Podcast. Do a bunch of different stuff. There's a lot of cool things you can find there that I did over the last year. You can find me and a friend of mine did our top 100 movies. So you could, if you have 60 hours, you can watch that whole series. And I've started with my friend. We've been doing sci-fi movies every week or so. And so this last Sunday, we did a review of The 13th Floor, which is like a very kind of like The Matrix kind of film. Also came out in 1999. So it's very cool. I would check it out. Next week, we're going to do Existence, which is like a David Cronenberg film, similar to Scanners, which is also a David Cronenberg film. So that'll be next Sunday. Check that out. And yeah, as Aaron was talking about, we started this podcast, The Cinematic Canon, which is just like basically I pick two films that are similar in terms of theme or genre, and we review them. And they tend to be kind of obscure, at least for your average American, because maybe they're foreign films or maybe they're films that haven't been highly distributed, but they're things that I think are really good. And then we just talk about them. It's just about exposing people to new cool films and cool genres. Yeah, so that's what I'm up to, and you'll probably see me on Popcorn and Pites and maybe some other podcasts on the network. So yeah, check the stuff out. It's really good.
That was beautiful. Absolutely awesome. But yeah, that's fucking.
Look, ooh, I'm live on.
That's Malignant.
Or with so sturdy.
Yes, sir. I see you over there.
Yeah, I got you. Hi. Wait.
What up?
That's right. Check it out. It's your
Make sure you
point.
check it out, people. But yeah, this fun times as always, guys. Fun film. Again, open invitation for scanners. If any of you guys want to come on, that includes the people that are sitting in the audience, so to speak. I don't want to. He's talking to you, Phil. You can see him in your dreams.
All you, buddy.
You can also see him on literally every podcast on this network.
Yeah. He really likes you and Kyle. He goes for the Canadians, so you guys can share.
No comment.
I guess before this goes down a weird, deeper, darker turn, we're going to get out of here, people. Have a great night. Thank you guys again for coming on. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I had a fucking awesome time. Michaela, Ibrahim, Phil.
Thank you.
Chris.
My pleasure, brother.
You're welcome.
Everybody has an open invitation to any one of my podcasts except for Chris.
Awesome. I was going to say, wait, no. Don't recant now.
Never.
Oh, man. Chris, you would love
Take care,
this
James.
podcast, so you got to go on there. Trust me.
I unfortunately have burned that bridge.
I need content, brother. I'll take anybody at this point some days.
But no, it's a dope network. It's a dope networking podcast, though. Definitely check it out. And with that being said, people, I'll see you in your nightmares. R. Kelly, you're doing life.